right, shalom, everybody. Shalom. Good to be here. Like I said, started a little later today. Not a long class. Should be done on time. Tonight's title of the class is Treasures of Wickedness. All right? That's the title of tonight's class, Treasures of Wickedness. So let's open up with Matthew chapter 6. We're going to start at verse 19. We're going to go all the way through verse 24. Matthew 6, 19 through 24. Treasures of Wickedness.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 6.
I have for me read it tonight.
Soldier Uzziah.
Soldier Uzziah. Let's get it.
Book of Matthew chapter 6 verse 19. Lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal.
Now, that's not saying don't have anything on this earth, just walk around like a vagabond. No, you still need, as adults, we still need to have a place to dwell. We still need to have clothes. We still need to have transportation, so forth and so on. But it's when you put all your trust and faith and your self-worth into your possessions, that's when you fall into sin or some form of iniquity, because you have more faith in that fancy car or that house or the jewelry or whatever it is that you got. You place so much of value on that you overlook what the Lord really have you here for, which is to keep these commandments and to wake up your brothers and sisters. So don't lay up treasures, meaning that's where your value is placed in these world earthly things. Read on.
But lay up yourselves treasures in heaven.
But the treasures you should be seeking is, how do I get to the kingdom? Simple as that. How do I get to the kingdom? What must I do? How do I stay on track to make it to the kingdom? That's the treasure that we got to be seeking after. Sure, we still need to get, like I said, houses. There's nothing wrong with wanting nice things, but it's when those nice things you become covetous of those nice things, and that's all you think about. You don't care how you get it. So lay up treasures for yourself in heaven. Read on.
Where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt.
Because those of you who have jewelry, right, whether it's gold or silver, it's, when you first buy it, that's the shiniest and the best it ever looks, right? You can clean it. You can even take it to them to get it cleaned and all, but it still don't look like when they had it in that showroom glass, right? The treasures that we put so much into, it's moth, rust, dust, something will get to it at some point, no matter how good you take care of it. But the treasures in heaven, there's no moth, there's no rust, no dust, no nothing. You're not supposed to say a double negative. No nothing. We speak a little Ebonics tonight. But in heaven, there is nothing can get there can spoil the treasures in heaven. That's where you got to place your trust in. That's got to be where your desires is at. Read on.
And where thieves do not break through nor steal.
There's going to be no thieves in the kingdom. All of us, I don't care how good of a neighborhood you live in, right? All of us do what at night before we go to sleep? At least we should. We lock those doors, right? Turn on our alarms. Some of us got cameras on our houses and things like that. We check it and make sure, okay, yeah, we good, right? But we don't have to worry about that in the kingdom. Think about that. Think about never having to worry if you lock. Oh, dang. How many of you guys ever left your house and thought, like, did I close my garage? Did I lock that door? That'll never be a thought that we have when we're in the kingdom. There'll be no thieves there. Read on.
For where your treasure is.
Because where you place your real treasure, your real value, what you value in this world, what will be there?
There will your heart be also.
That's where your mind will be at all the time. If your treasure is your children, you think about your children more than you think about the Bible. If your treasure is your husband, you're going to think about your husband more than you think about, how do I keep these commandments? If your treasure is your wife, same thing. You'll be thinking, how can I please her versus how do I keep these commandments? And with that, you're going to fall into some type of sin, some type of temptation, because your mind is focused on the wrong things that depreciate in time. Whereas the Lord, his treasures appreciates, get better, and it's the best. It can't get worse. It's the best. What verse you at?
End of 21.
We're going all the way to 24. Come on.
Verse 22. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light.
If your eyes have a singular focus, I'm focused on keeping these commandments. I'm focused on what the Lord wants me to do. You're going to have what? You're going to have light. You're going to have understanding. You're going to have wisdom. You're going to have all those things that come with keeping the commandments. Read on.
But if thine eye be evil.
But if your eye is evil, you have a wandering eye. You got one eye on the Lord and one eye on everything else. And then sometimes you take your eye off the Lord and put that on everything else. Well, you ain't even got your eye on the Lord. If your eyes be evil,
thy whole body shall be full of darkness.
Your body's going to follow where your eyes is aiming at. Oh, that look good over. That's where you're headed to. You're going to be full of what?
Darkness.
Full of darkness.
If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness.
So that little light you had at one point turns to darkness because you lost focus. You're not focused on the word or keeping the commandments. You focus on worldly items and gifts and things like that.
How great is that darkness?
That's going to be a very great darkness, one that some people never get out of. Once you start getting to that point, you become reprobate because you're just focused on the darkness, the dark things of this world, and the worldly pleasures you can't let go of. Read on.
No man can serve two masters.
You can't serve two masters. You can't humbly serve the Lord and then be willing to do whatever it takes to get that house or to get that job or to get that woman or to get that man. You can't serve two masters.
For either he will hate the one.
You will hate this world and all the wickedness in it.
And love the other.
And love the Lord.
Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other.
Or you'll go the other way and say, I love the pleasures of this world. I love making money. I love what money gives me. I love the name I got. I love the praise I get from people or whatever. You'll love those things and forget the Lord. You'll hate the other one because if I go back over there to the Lord, I'm going to have to humble down. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to do that. No, I don't want to do it. No, I like where I'm at.
Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
That mammon, you can substitute that for anything. You can't serve God and your husband if he's taking you away from the commandments, or you can't serve God and your wife if she's trying to take you away from the commandments, or your children, or your job, or money, or jewelry, or whatever it is. If it's something that you put over, you can't serve both. You're going to have to make a choice. Which one am I going to serve? All right, let's go to 1 Timothy 6 and verse 5. And we're going to go through verse 8.
There's a book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 5. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain.
Wait, hold on. Wait. First, okay, wait, hold on a second. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place. Go ahead, one more time.
Book of 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such.
Now, some, they think that anytime you gain something, that came from God, no matter how you got it. Read on.
From such withdraw thyself.
Because not everything you gain is going to be good for you, depending on how you got it and what you gain. Read on.
But godliness.
It's the other way around. If you have godliness, which is the keeping of these commandments.
With contentment.
And you're content with that. I'm keeping these commandments, and then whatever comes from that, whatever I gain from that is what?
Is great gain.
That's the real gain right there. Godliness, keeping these commandments, and being content. You may never be rich. Don't even strive to be rich. A lot of times, people that are rich, most of the time people that are rich, they start trusting in their riches and then forgot where they came from, right? We've all heard that before. You forgot where you came from. And we say that to people who ain't even rich, right? So imagine if you really got rich. So it's the godliness and being content with that, with just the keeping of the commandments and whatever comes from. That's great gain. Read on.
For we brought nothing into this world.
Because remember, how did you come into this world? With nothing. You came in this world with nothing.
And it is certain we can carry nothing out.
And when you leave, I don't care how fancy of a casket you get. I don't care what suit they put on you or what dress they put on you, jewelry and all that. You're not going to be able to take none of that with you. So the same way you came here is the same way you're going to leave. Read on.
And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
And the Lord is saying, if you got food and clothes, you got enough to survive. Be content with that. You know what else that's saying? How many of you got more than just food and clothes? Everybody's hand should be up. If you don't have food and clothes, is that why they camera not on? So everybody on here got more than food and clothes, right? So you know what the Lord is saying? You rich. You rich. Can you be content with that, though? Now, that's not to say, oh, I got food and clothes, I'm not going to do nothing else, I'm good. No, you can still strive, but don't make what you're striving for your God. to where it's like, that's all I care about. That's all I see is, can I pick up another shift? Can I get this? I want to get that. I want to buy this. And you spend it as soon as you get it. Understand what real gain is. That's godliness with contentment. Because if you are truly, I want you to think about this. If you are really content, mixed with your godliness, right, with you keeping the commandments, and you're content with the Lord gave you, if somebody rolled up in here in a Lamborghini, or somebody just got a brand new house, 5 bedrooms with all this and that and pool and everything else, you would never think nothing like, dang, I wish I had that, or I wish that was me. You wouldn't think like that. You'd be like, that's good for them. The Lord blessed them. But what I got, if the Lord blessed me with it, he blessed me with it. Not, he don't. But I'm content with what I got. That's how you know you content. But when you look at what other people got and say, man, I sure wish I had that, or how can I get me that, or what, you know, then that's when it's starting to go into a covetous spirit. All right, let's go to, did you finish verse 8?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to Mark chapter 8. Mark 8, 36 through 38.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 8, verse 36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
Now think about this. 2 of the most famous musicians in our lifetime, R. Kelly and Diddy, right? They had it all. They had it all. Money, fame, houses, all the cars they wanted, all the recognition they want. They were on TV. Everybody know who they are. What good was all that just for them to end up in jail? Sharing a toilet with somebody or whatever that, you know, what good is that? What good was that? Was it worth all that? Everyone, not just everyone, both of them would trade places with you right now to be out of that jail, to go to your house, go to your whatever, and then to be out of that jail right now. Both of them. At one point, they would raise their nose up at you like you don't exist. Now they would love to be in your position. Read that again.
Verse 36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
So what did you really get out of gaining the whole world? What did you really get out of that? Some short-term fun, some short-term pleasure? And think about this. The way R. Kelly lived and the way Puff Daddy lived, Suge Knight, another one, on Death Row Records, right? The way that they lived, eating the best foods, wearing the best clothes and all that, will be poor in the kingdom. The poorest of us won't live that bad. Think about how good that's bottom tier. All of us gonna be living better than that in the kingdom. So what good did they gain out of living like that for a few years and end up how they ended up right now, all in prison? What good did they gain out of that? Read on.
Or what shall a man give in exchange for his own soul?
Is that what your soul is worth? A few dollars on earth? Some jewelry right now that moths and different things can get to and rust? Is that what your soul is worth? Read on.
Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels.
Think about all the money that they had that they could have used to actually help further this truth, help their people. Look how many of our people are struggling, just trying to get by. Look at the amount of money that they waste in strip clubs and things like that. They're just throwing money away. Look how they waste their money. That couldn't be used for good. Read the last verse again. That's how they're ashamed. Go ahead. Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me.
Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels.
They were ashamed to do the right thing when they had a chance to. They were ashamed. They could have had multiple opportunities to do the right thing. Instead of that, they abused their own people. They abused their own people. The people that they got accused of messing over and everything, those are our people. Let's go to Proverbs 10. and we're going to read verses 1 through 4.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 10 and verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, a wise son maketh a glad father.
Now watch this. A wise son, sisters, pay attention to this, maketh a glad father. Read on.
But a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
Why it didn't say the heaviness of his father? Let's get one of the sisters over there. Let's go to Sister Shauna.
Test.
Shalom, officer. Because the women are the ones who actually raises the babies and care for in the home.
No, that's not what I want. Let's get somebody online. Let's see. Let's go to somebody online. Let's go to Sister Rebecca. Read the verse 4 one more time.
Verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
What do you think about that, Sister Rebecca? Is she on? Is she still muted?
So, can you repeat the question?
Why does it say at the bottom of that verse, read that last part?
But a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
Why it doesn't say the heaviness of the father? Why does it say the mother there?
Because we're the ones that are supposed to teach our children.
Say that again?
We're the ones that are supposed to teach our children.
Okay, so partially. Did we lose signal? Oh, partially. I'm going to give the answer. Because a father that's there, right, he's going to raise his children and everything else. But you know one thing fathers don't do, the right fathers, they don't lie and make excuses for their children. They'll be the first one to tell you, no, don't do that. No, my son, he ain't trust, nah. You can't trust him with that. Nah, he ain't worth, right now he ain't worth nothing right now. A father will say that. But a mother will protect that son knowing damn well he ain't worth nothing to the bitter end. She will protect him. She'll bail him out of jail. She'll do this. She'll do that. She'll do everything. Why do you think they call some boys mamas what? Now, do they ever use that term in a good way? It's usually because he's soft, he's weak, he depends on his mom. It's never a sign of strength. That boy, he's independent. He knows he's working. He's got his own. They don't ever use that as a mama's boy, right? It's always a negative term, right? Here comes his mama coming to come save him again, right? That's a heaviness to the mother because she's going to be bailing that wicked son out over and over. When the father done gave her, hey, I done told you leave him alone. You keep bailing him out. You're going to keep losing, you're only going to end up getting hurt. Read on.
Treasures of wickedness.
Here we go. Treasures of wickedness, the title of this class.
Profit nothing.
It profits nothing. Treasures of wickedness profit nothing. Another word for that is ill-gotten gains. You gain something the wrong way. We look at some of the musicians that I laid out earlier, or all the musicians, right? They got all this rich and they got all this fame, but what is it going to profit them in the end? Nothing. They're not making it to the kingdom in their current state, not unless they repent and do right with their money and help push this truth. But ill-gotten gains or treasures of wickedness does what?
Profit nothing.
There's no profit in it. Yes, you got the gold. Yes, you got the jewelry. Yes, you got the houses. Yes, you got the car. Yes, you got the women or the money or the men or whatever it is that you wanted. Yes, you got that. But it won't last long. Eventually, it's going to go away. Eventually, what you got will end up hurting you more than it gave you pleasure. Ill-gotten gains, treasures of wickedness, profit nothing. Read.
But righteousness,
doing things the right way,
delivereth from death.
It'll deliver you from death. The last I heard, they had Puffy on suicide watch. That's why, that's what I heard. They had him on suicide watch. Don't even want to live. When you taste the living life that he lived, where everybody was your servant, and now you in there being told what to do, the fancy clothes he was wearing, now he's wearing jumpsuits. The food he was eating, now he's eating slop in there. in one room by himself. I bet he didn't have a bathroom or any closet smaller than the room that he's in right now. And now he's living like that. Ill-gotten gains, treasures of wickedness. It profit him nothing right now. He offered $60 million. He said he offered $60 million to put up for his bail. And that he would give up his passport. I think I went over this in one last class. His mama's passport, all his children's passport. And he would stay in one of his condos in New York or something like that. And the judge said no. Read on.
Verse 3. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish.
You have to understand, if you're righteous, you're not going to go without. Yes, there's going to be peaks and valleys and ups and downs. You may be some periods of time where you struggle here or there, but the Lord is not going to let you suffer to the point where you don't have nothing. Somebody will help you. You will get out of it. It won't be there long. But if you're not content with that, if you got eyes for bigger and better things, and that's all you care about, you're going to fall into temptation. Read.
But he casteth away the substance of the wicked.
He casts what?
The substance of the wicked.
Eventually what you got will be cast away. Whether you die early, whether you lose it, however the Lord decide to do it, you're not going to have it for long. What verse you at?
Verse 4.
Come on.
He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand.
Now, if you got a slack hand, and if you slothful, you're not willing to actually work to do it the right way, yeah, you're going to be poor.
But the hand of the diligent maketh rich.
But if you diligent, right? And riches is not always you got more money. Riches is just having the things that you need. Remember, if you got food and you got raiment, the Lord said what? You should be content with that. You got more than that, you rich. You got more than what you need.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
Read that verse again.
Verse 4. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand.
You slothful in business and slothful in everything, you're going to end up being poor. You're not going to have nothing. If you slothful in keeping these commandments or studying or whatever, you're eventually going to lose the wisdom you got. Read on.
But the hand of the diligent.
But if you diligent in this truth,
maketh rich.
You'll become rich. And get out. Don't look at that word rich again as money. It's not always about that. If you got wisdom, you're rich. The wisdom you got, you're more wealthier than anybody else on this planet. You're more wealthier than all the stars you could name right now, just because you actually got wisdom. You actually know who you are. You actually keep the commandments. You're rich and don't even know it, or don't even recognize the fact that what you got is more valuable than anything that you can get on this earth. Let's go to Psalms 49. And we're going to read verses 5 through 7.
This is book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 5. Wherefore should I fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity of my heels shall compass me about?
Read that again.
Verse 5. Wherefore should I fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity of my heels shall compass me about?
Deacon Asaph went over this, I think it was like last or maybe 2 Friday nights ago. That's all the sins that you have done before is coming back. The payment for that is coming back to you right now. The iniquity of your heels, meaning you've done that in the past, and now you're finally getting ready to pay for it. Shall compass me about. Now you're getting ready to pay for all the sins that you had done before. Read on.
Verse 6. They that trust in their wealth.
If you trust in your wealth or whatever it is. Now, substitute the word wealth, therefore, whatever it is that you had coveted, whether it was that house, that husband, that wife, or your children, whatever it is you put above God. Do you trust in those things?
And boast themselves in the multitude of their riches.
And you oh, my son is so good. My daughter is this, or look at my house, or look at my car, or look at this. When you boast in those things,
none of them can by any means redeem his brother.
None of them can save you or anybody else. None of them. It's just temporary stuff.
Nor give to God a ransom for him.
And you can't give that or offer that up as a sacrifice to the Lord. You can't offer that. Whatever it is that you put above the Lord, you can't then turn, oh, well, here, Lord, I'm going to give it to you now. Because how you got it. Now, that doesn't mean that if you don't have, if you gain money that you can't then, help use it to push the truth. Yes. But it's not going to fully deliver you. That comes with repentance and everything else, and not doing that again, leaving off from that particular sin. What verse you at?
Verse 8.
Read verse 8.
For the redemption of their soul is precious.
Your soul is precious. The Lord died for that soul, for you to have an opportunity to make it to the kingdom.
And it ceaseth forever.
Now, where your soul end up being forever is going to be what you decide, how you decide to live your life. If it's about getting any and everything you get by any means necessary, then yeah, you're not going to make it to the kingdom. But if you have godliness with contentment, keeping the commandments, that right there is the real gains you should be striving for. Those gains is going to be good. It'll lead you to, treasures in heaven where moth and rust doesn't decay, doesn't decay your gifts. All right, or your treasure. Sorry. Where we at? Would you finish verse
8.
Finish verse 8. Let's go to Proverbs 28. Proverbs 28, and we're going to start at verse 8.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 8. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance.
He that by usury and unjust gain, right? Usury, you're adding burdens, or you're adding taxes, or you're taking advantage of other people, interest rate, whatever it is. You're helping somebody, but when you do this, I want you to pay me back this plus that, and you don't necessarily have to do that. You're taking advantage of people. That's what this is talking about, right? Read that again.
He that by usury and unjust gain
and unjust gains, you're doing it the wrong way,
increaseth his substance.
You'll get more. You'll gain something. You'll get something out of it, right? You will gain. It's not like you're going to fail you'll gain, but it's how you gained it. Read on.
He shall gather it for him.
You're going to gather it for you.
That will pity the poor.
And you'll have no pity for the poor. He shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. Read on. Meaning you'll lose that, but it'll end up going to someone else. You won't keep that. Read on.
He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law.
And if you turn your ear away from hearing the law, once you know better and you still choose to do wrong,
even his prayer shall be abomination.
The things you pray for, I pray, Lord, can you increase my wealth? Can you do this? Can you do that? That's going to be an abomination to the Lord, because you're not trying to use whatever it is you're asking the Lord for to help in any manner your brothers, your sisters, or anything like that. You only care about yourself. Read on.
Whoso causeth the righteous to go astray in evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit.
Now, if you cause the righteous to go astray in an evil way, so you do anything contrary to this, to the word, and you cause other people to fall away, read on.
But the upright shall...
he shall fall himself.
Excuse me. He shall fall himself into his own pit.
When you cause people, use that, like we can use that today. We have a lot of apologists that try to debate us, follow us around, different things like that. They're a bunch of nobodies. We don't respond to them. We don't even care what they think or what they say. They're a lost cause. You will, those that are our people, we'll pray for them that they repent someday, but we're not going to hold our breath for that. But anyway, they try to comment on our videos. They try to put videos up and all kind of foolish stuff, whatever. When we look, there's like no views. Nobody's responding, no nothing. We laugh at it. Anyway, they try to turn people away against us, but all they're doing is increasing our numbers. All it does is send more traffic to our videos. More people see it, more people repent, more people want to come to the school, more people want to learn. That's all. They don't realize that all they're doing is actually helping us. So all praise to the Most High. Keep doing what you're doing. That's why Bishop always shout out our frenemies at the start of all their classes. Y'all do nothing but you're only helping us. But anyway, they'll try to turn people away, and all they're going to do is fall into their own pit. They're not going to make it to the kingdom. They're going to fall into the real pit. Read on.
But the upright shall have good things in possessions.
But if you upright, you will gain possessions. They'll be good things you can be proud of. You got it the right way. You didn't cheat. You didn't lie. You didn't steal. You earned it. Old-fashioned, right? How about that? You earned it, right? A lot of our people want the easy way out. We don't want to earn things Because when you earn it, it normally takes longer, right? So we want to take the shortcut, and we're willing to have ill-gotten gains by taking a shortcut. Drop down to verse 13 and 14.
Verse 13. He that covereth his own sins,
He that covereth his own sins,
shall not prosper.
you're not going to prosper in the long run.
But whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy.
But if you confess and forsake, you know what, I used to do this, I used to do that, but I'm not doing that no more, the Lord will have mercy on you. It's not too late for you to repent. You can still have mercy, but you're going to have to confess those sins and turn from it. Read on.
Happy is the man that feareth always, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief.
Happy is the man that feareth always. You got to always have fear for the Lord. When that fear goes away, that's when you're going to fall into some temptation for sure at some point. Because you no longer fear what'll happen if you get caught or the consequences of your actions. When you lose fear, that's how people commit adultery. You lost fear, and you went and did that. People, get high one more time. You lost fear, and you went and got high one more time. Whatever it is, you lost fear, and you did that sin. Read on.
As a roaring lion.
But he, go from there. But he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. You harden your heart and you turn from the Lord, you guaranteed to fall into some sin, for sure.
Verse 15.
No, I don't need verse 15. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 8. And we're going to read verses 11 through 13.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes.
We're speaking of the treasures of wickedness or ill-gotten gains. And IT, get my videos ready. Come on.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily.
You know, a lot of times when you do something wrong, you expect to get your punishment right now. And then when you see that punishment didn't happen, you start thinking, okay, well, maybe the Lord had mercy on me. You know, like I got away with it, you know. So because that evil work you did, you get punished for it because it wasn't executed speedily. Read on.
Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Then you'll do it again. Because you, in your mind, you think you got away with it the first time. And sometimes you think you got away and be like, oh, I'm not going to do that again. You know, I'll never do that again. That was a mistake with it. And because nothing bad happened, you find yourself doing it again. That's why people will commit adultery or fornication multiple times, or they'll go get high again a second time, or if they watch porn and they'll do it again and again and again, because the punishment didn't come from you didn't get the punishment instantly. So you think, oh, I got away with it. Lord, have mercy on me. Read on.
Though a sinner do evil 100 times.
You might end up doing that thing 100 times. 100 times, even though the first time you said, I'm not going to do that again. Because you had some shame, some guilt at that point. But when you notice when you do something that second or third or fourth time, it don't hurt as bad as the first time. It gets easier. You guys ever done something wrong before and did it again and realize, the first time you feel a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. But then after that, it got easier and easier and easier. For those that did not wait till marriage to have sex, the first time you did it, you was probably ashamed, like, I can't believe I did that. I wish I didn't or whatever. But that second time was easier than the first time, wasn't it? Or the third time or the fourth time became easier and easier. You didn't have the same guilt or shame you had the first time. And you got away with it. At least you thought you got away with it. It's the same thing with any other sin. You did it. I didn't really get in trouble that time. Temptation comes back at you, you do it again. And again, and every time you do it, it gets easier and easier and easier. Read on.
And his days be prolonged. Yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God.
And you think because their days, like, you know, nothing happened, that they didn't live a long life in that same sin or whatever else. But the Lord is saying, surely what?
I know that it shall be well with them that fear God.
But if you fear God, you think that they're prospering, you should only see how you're going to prosper, because theirs is going to be taken away from them at some point. It's just that it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to. Verse 13.
Verse 13. But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days.
But the wicked that keep falling into those same sins or those ill-gotten gains or wickedness, the treasures that they receive from their wickedness, It's not going to be good with them. But it shall not be well with the wicked. Neither shall he prolong his days, because the days on earth is one thing. But you want to have long days in the kingdom. You know, you want to go where it's going to be for forever. You know, the little joy you get right now is not worth forever. Read on.
Which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before God.
You know, shadows come and go. Like even your own shadow, you turn some light on that shadow, disappear, right? That's the same way our life is. It's here for a second, gone. We don't, you know, you live to be 80, 90 years. That's not a lot of time. That's not a lot of time at all compared to forever. So the wickedness or whatever they got, yeah, it may last for a little while, but again, that's just a little while. Now, IT, I want to show the first video here. A lot of the men may know who this man is. This is Ronnie Coleman. Fair use. Make sure we put up the, the disclaimer stuff for fair use, right? We got that, IT? Okay. All right. So this is Ronnie Coleman. If you're of my age, or even younger, this guy was just an absolute powerhouse, right? I think he was 6'4", and while he was in the Mr. Olympian, he was 280 pounds and like 5% body fat or something like that. I mean, something ridiculous. Don't quote me on the body fat percentage, but 280 pounds of just rock solid muscle. So here's some of his best lifts. That's the bench press right there. Go ahead. 500 pounds on the bench press. 800 pounds deadlift, just picking up 800 pounds right there. Look at him. 800-pound squat. Stop right there. I don't know if you guys can understand what's going on right here. That's not a typo. That's 2,300 pounds leg press right there. They had to weld and build that bar up top and extend it to put enough plates on there to get that amount of weight on there. If that right, they were so concerned when he did that lift that would break, and if it did, it would just kill them instantly. It would squash them and kill them instantly. What is a ton? Is a ton 2,000 or 4,000 pounds? 2,000 pounds is a ton? That's over a ton, y'all, that he's squatting with. I mean, that he's bench leg pressing. Over a ton. 2,300 pounds. Now, he's a college graduate. He has a degree, and he was a police officer. That's what he did for a living. He was a police officer for a living and was lifting weights, just as a hobby. 2,300 pounds. Go ahead. Nobody has ever done that. And he's repping that. Each one of those dumbbells is 200 pounds. All right, give me the next video. So you can see this guy's a powerhouse. Give me the next video.
What kind of steroids were dudes doing back then?
Basic.
This is him after he retired.
Your
Turn it up.
D-ball. It's just basic stuff, And back then, because the DA had come in and was trying to find out what we were all doing, they made us do it legally. So, you had to go to the doctor and get all these prescriptions.
And you would get prescriptions for steroids?
Yeah.
What kind of steroids would they give you a prescription for?
Like any kind of test you need.
That's testosterone.
They would get growth hormone.
Human growth hormones.
Prescriptions, because once the DEA came in, they was like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all taking?
But what kind of steroid?
Okay, go to the next video. So the bodybuilders of that time, they was taking all these different steroids and stuff. Give me the next video.
The year before 96, I placed 7th,
Now,
but they moved me
I want y'all to, he's going to talk about how he came into the industry and stuff like that. All he was trying to do was, you'll see when he says this,
up to
all he was trying to do was to get a little recognition so he can get a free gym membership. That's all he was trying. He wasn't trying to be rich or he was just, I just want my gym membership free because he liked working out. So before, he was natural. He didn't do none of those things. He was just a genetically gifted man, 6'4", 320 pounds, and it may show him before he did anything, wrong. He was still a very big, strong man. Go ahead and press play.
to 6, I think, because NASA failed the drug test. They were drug testing us back then for diuretics. So in 1997, I'm like, man, if I could just make the top 5, I'll be all good. Well, I got 11th. I got 9th. And I'm like, oh, man, I already did this pity party thing, so that ain't going to work.
Right.
I ain't going to quit. So I continue on, and 1998 comes around, and I qualified Miss Olympia again, and went into Canada.
So you just keep going back to Canada?
I keep going back to Canada every year because I know I got a real good chance of winning. I don't want it like 4 years in a row. I'm like, okay, I got to go back to Canada again.
So not to cut you off, Ronnie, so you're saying I got 15th place, I've got 11th place, I've got 9th place, I've got 7th place in the Olympia, and I'm totally drug-free.
Well, in 1995,
Okay,
Flex
pause it.
Wheeler.
So he was finishing, I think it's like top 15, which is still amazing to qualify at that point, but he was all natural at that point. He wasn't doing no cheating. He was natural, but he was finishing 11th place, 9th place, so forth and so on. But what do we learn about ill-gotten gains? It's not enough. It's good for a little while, but I need more. I need more. You look at go back to Diddy's and R. Kelly's. One woman wasn't good enough for them. Now they got to have 2. Now they got to have 3. Now they got to have 1 every city they go to. It's just never enough. It's never enough. There's no contentment there. It's never enough. So with him, he's finishing 9th, 11th, which if you can sit back and say, I'm the 9th strongest man in the world or in that competition or whatever, that's something to be proud of. But it wasn't enough. Play.
Was winning all the shows he went to. Actually, it was 1994. He was winning. He won on the Classic.
Yep.
He was on the tour. He was winning all the shows on the tour. And I remember when I was in college, I was always the smartest guy in my class in accounting. But if I wasn't the smartest, I would go study with the smartest guy to increase my grade.
Okay.
So I'm going to take that same philosophy with Flex. So I went to Flex's room.
That's another way.
It was real kind of late at night.
Time.
And I'm like, Flex, man, I'm tired of getting my
Actually
butt
from
whooped
Fresno,
at all these
California,
shows.
Flex Wheeler.
And I hear you guys, taking the juice. I had to say something. And he's like, yeah, man, if you want to get up there with the big dogs, you got to do what the big dogs do.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, what do you do? Well, Flex named out a whole bunch of, steroids, drugs that they take. And he said, I got a buddy that can get everything for you. So I'm like, okay. So my first time ever having anything to do with drugs was 1995.
1995.
And that's when I won my first pro show.
Canada Cup.
Canada Cup. And I'm like, okay, I guess Flex was on point.
He was on to something, huh?
Yeah. So after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of getting my butt whooped. I'm just going to do what these guys do.
Right.
But we ran into a little problem along the way, and DA came in, and, they was like, what are you guys doing? What are you taking? So I'm like, well, this is pretty much what I'm doing. He's like, well, we're going to have to confiscate that and, you know, and take everything from you. I'm like, okay. So I went out and it had these clinics that you can go to and get, you know, steroids legally.
Right.
The only thing, you had to take these blood work.
Blood, yeah, to get the blood done.
Yeah, so I went to one of those clinics and started doing everything legally, but I had to, you know, take these blood tests, and everything came out pretty much normal, so I was okay. So I was all right now, you know. I could do everything legally. I ain't got to worry about, you know, getting in trouble from doing what I was doing, and from that point on, my career just took off. In 1998, when I went to the Olympia, Flex was...
Okay, you can stop it there. You can stop it there. So he started taking steroids. And what do we learn by what he just said? He was getting it legally, which is the next point. Just because something is legal in America or in the world that you live in, that don't make it right. That is no different. Taking steroids, stuff like that, for what he's trying to do is no different than somebody getting high. It's still drugs, right? Your body is a temple. And he did that. And what did we learn earlier? Well, I tell you what, we'll go over that in a second. Give me how many more videos do I got? Give me the next video. So you guys seen what he was lifting and everything, right? How strong he was? Give me the next video. This is him now.
You're wondering what happened to Ronnie Coleman. This is the result of 13 spinal surgeries. As a result, it has caused atrophy in his legs.
13 spinal surgeries. It comes at a cost lifting that kind of weight. The body wasn't meant to lift that kind of weight. Not like that. Well, he wasn't doing it naturally. See, his body wasn't naturally able to lift the weights he was lifting, and look at the damage he caused. 13 spinal surgeries later. You see how he's moving around? Was it worth it?
Probably wondering what happened to Ronnie Coleman.
He's not much older
13 spinal
than Soldier
surgeries.
Yakanan. He's just 60 years old. Or he might be 61 now. And look how he's getting around. What?
As a result,
was
it has
it worth
caused
it?
atrophy in his legs. Probably
Give me the
wondering.
next video. This is the last video, right? All right, then we're going to go back to the scriptures. Proverbs 13. Give me this last video. This is him right here. Look, he's got to crawl to get on stage. Look at that. You see him? At 60 years old. Go back to the beginning of the video again if you can. Isn't that sad? Look at that. He's got to crawl. You can take it off. That ain't sad to y'all? Ill-gotten gains. He was riding high, winning, I think he's, 9 times? I forgot how many times he won the Olympiad. More than anybody else. Was it worth it, though? To be at 60 years old moving around like that? Was it worth it? Let's go to Proverbs 13, start at verse 10. 10 through 13.
This book of Proverbs, chapter 13 and verse 10. Only by pride cometh contention.
If the only way you can be content is through your pride,
but with the well advised is wisdom.
You really need to be content with having wisdom. That really got to be where you store your treasure, as with wisdom. Knowing what to do, how to do it, when to apply it, so forth and so on. Having wisdom. Read on.
Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished.
Now, his gain, instead of wealth, it was for him. He did get wealth behind that, but the fame, remember he said he got tired of getting his butt kicked. So he said, let me start taking the drugs like everybody else. He wanted the fame. He wanted everything that came along with that, the accolades. But he got it by vanity, the wrong way. And look at him. He's diminished now. Read on.
But he that gathereth by labor shall increase.
But if you work, he was already big and strong. He was finished in 11th and 9th naturally. And really, he should take pride saying he's really first because he was the only one up there natural. Everybody else was cheating. So he really was the best. He didn't need the steroid stuff to prove that he was the best. He already was. Everybody else was cheating to be better than him. But it wasn't enough for him. What verse you at?
Verse 12.
Come on.
Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Hope deferred maketh the heart sick. How is that? Hope deferred. You're hoping for something, right? It makes the heart sick. If I do this, for me to accomplish this, I'll give you an example. I'll show you something. A lot of people, they don't want to go to college because they look at it as it's going to take me 4 years to get that degree. I know if I go and everything else, I can get that degree, but that degree is deferred. That's going to be 4 years away. Everybody else, my friends, already got jobs. They working. They may already have a house or apartment or something like that. If I go to college, man, I'm broke. I ain't got nothing. In the long run, I can get it, but I want it now. People don't want to defer. They don't want to wait.
But when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life.
But if you actually worked and did it the right way, and you went and got that degree, or you did something the right way and you earned it, then it's a tree of life because you got what you worked so hard for and you earned it you got it the right way. And it'll be a blessing for you. Read on.
Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed.
But if you despise the word of working and not defiling yourself to earn or to get something, if you do that, if you don't despise this word, or if you despise this word, you'll be destroyed. But if you don't, you won't be destroyed. Read on.
But he that feareth the commandment.
If you fear the commandment, saying, you know what, I'm not going to cheat to get that. I'm not going to cheat to get whatever it is that I want. I'm going to do it the right way. And if I get it, great. If I don't, hey, it's of the Lord. Read on.
Shall be rewarded.
You'll be rewarded in the end. But a lot of people don't want to wait for that. They want it right now. He wanted his reward right now. He didn't want to wait. And now look, I don't care how much money he's got. You think he wouldn't trade that money for good health right now? Give me Exodus 18, 20, and 21.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 18 and verse 20. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them by the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do.
And we're supposed to have wise men that instructs us. And we do. We have leadership to instruct us on the way in which we should go. A lot of times we don't want to listen to that counsel because a lot of times you know where the counsel's going to go before you ask for it. He's going to tell me to do this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. That's the reason why a lot of people don't go to counsel, because they don't want to hear that. And they can use it as an excuse. Well, yeah, I did. I should have got counsel. I didn't. Well, that's why you're in the mess that you're in. A lot of times you already know what direction they're going to tell you to go in. And that's why you'll counsel with other people instead of counseling with leadership, because other people will tell you what you want to hear. Did you finish that? Or no, read on.
Verse 21. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men.
So the Lord has set up able men to be counselors for you. We have leadership, all levels, that can give you the counsel. But instead of getting counsel from them, you go deal with a younger man. You go get counsel from somebody else that's going to tell you what you want to hear. Read on.
Such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness.
Those are men you want to be, men that hate covetousness. They're in it for the truth. They're in it to give you the right counsel, the one that's going to give you the right medicine to help you. They're not looking at it as how they can get something out of you. They're trying to give you the knowledge, the understanding, the wisdom, so you can make the right decisions and get things done the right way. Read on.
And place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10s.
And what's crazy is you'll have, and I'll just use these same numbers here, you'll have somebody that's a ruler of 50, and they'll counsel with the ruler of 10 instead of going to the ruler of 1,000. Why would they do that? you know that chances are the person that's a 10, that's a newer in leadership, or a 50, right? I mean, a 10 that's newer in leadership, they probably don't know or have no experience to help you really in the matter that you're going to them for. So you're basically going to them because you want a cheerleader. You want somebody to tell you, yep, this is what I wanted. Yeah, that's a good idea. Because that 10 might have respect of persons and be like, well, you're a 50, so if you thinking that, then you must be right. You won't go to the 1,000 because you know the 1,000 is going to tell you, hey, what's wrong with you, bro? You know you're not supposed to be doing that. No, that ain't right. But you don't want to hear that. And then that way you can go back and say, well, I did get counsel on it. Who'd you counsel with? The 10?
Newly promoted 10.
Say what?
Newly promoted 10.
Yeah, you just promoted yesterday. You went to him? You went to him? So a lot of times, believe me, that happens a lot in the truth more than what you think. They'll go to the younger man or the equal rank instead of going to the senior man because they don't really want to hear the truth. Where we at? You finished verse 21?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's go to Proverbs 11 and 14.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall.
So where there's no counsel, people will fall. You know, we didn't have, when you look at the first, the last book of, let me see. This is what I want. We'll just read the first book of Ruth, 1:1 real quick. Then we're going to go right back. Matter of fact, go to Judges 21. 24. Watch this. Judges 21 and 24. I got to show you where Judges is at, or?
Sir.
You sure? I can show you.
He said 21, 24. This
Yes.
is the book of Judges, chapter 21, verse 24.
Uh-huh.
And the children of Israel departed thence at that time, every man to his tribe and to his family. And they went out from thence, every man to his inheritance.
So everybody went their own way. All their tribes went their own way. Come on.
And in those days there was no king in Israel.
So we had no king in Israel at that point, or no judges. And what happened because of that?
Every man did that which was right in his own eyes.
So everybody started doing what they wanted, what they thought was right in their own eyes. Well, it didn't matter what the law said. I'm just going to do what I think is right. And let's go to the next book.
Book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled, and there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn into the country of Moab.
Uh-huh.
He and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife was Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilon. Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. And they came into the country of Moab and continued there. And Elimelech and Naomi's husband died, and she was left and her 2 sons.
So the father died, and now it's just the wife and the 2 sons. Uh-huh.
And they took them wives of the women of Moab.
Of what?
Of Moab.
So the father's gone, right? They left the famine. They go to another land. They went to the land of Moab. And so because there was no judges there, what did they immediately do? Father's gone now. It's just the mother and the 2 sons. What they do? They went and got wives of another nation. Why? There's no judges there. People start doing right in their own eyes. Right? Simple. Don't we do that now? Don't our people do that now? They do what's right in their own eyes. How do we know what people do? How do we know that our people do right in their own eyes? Did you know that 97% of black women voted for Kamala Harris, right? And what was the number one thing that she was pushing on our people? They called it reproductive rights, which was you have the right to kill your babies. That's what she was pushing. So our sisters, 90 or 80% of the black men voted for her too. So they voted less. But either way, that's what we voting anyway. But the point is, that's what they were selling our people, and they do right in their own eyes. Let's go back to Proverbs. Where do I have you at? Proverbs 11 and 14.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall.
You see that? When there was no judges, see what our people did? We started marrying people of other nations, started doing right in our own eyes, and led us into this, where we at right now, which is a sin-filled nation. Where there is no, read it again.
Where no counsel is, the people fall.
And when there's no counsel, people will fall. It's going to happen every time.
But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety.
But when you're around counselors, the multitude of counselors, there's safety in that. They'll protect you from yourself. Somebody, if he would have got counsel, would have said, hey, listen, trying to do is it worth your body? Look, just be happy with what you're already placing naturally, and take comfort in knowing that you're better than all the men up there because you're the only one that's doing it naturally. If he would have got counsel, he didn't have no safety. He couldn't protect himself. And now look where he's at. No knock on him or nothing like that. He may repent and all that type of stuff, but I'm just saying, I'm just using him as an example. Let's go to 1 Kings 12. We're going to read 1 through 14. Let's read it quick. 1 Kings 12, 1 through 14.
This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 12, verse 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt, that they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father, and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee.
So if you make it easier on us, we'll serve you. Read.
And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulting with the old men.
With who?
With the old men.
Okay, so he consulted with the old men. What they tell him?
That stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, If thou would be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them, and answer them, and spake good words to them, then they will be thy servant forever.
If you do this, they'll be your servant forever. They gave him good counsel. Read on.
But he forsook the counsel of he forsook the counsel of the old men.
He said, No, I don't like that.
Which they had given him, and consulted with the young men.
With the who?
The young men.
Oh, so he went back to the young men.
That were grown up with him.
With who?
With him.
So he went to his own friends, the people around his own age group. That, the young men that was around his same age group that he grew up with, that knew him, and he knew them. Read on.
And which stood before him. And he said unto them, What counsel give ye that we may answer this people, and who have spoken to me, saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter. And the young men that were grown up with him.
He said, Should the work that my father put on y'all, should I make it lighter? Read on.
Spake him, saying, Thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins.
You have the imagination, you know what he's saying. Read on.
And now whereas my father did lay you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke.
So what work my father gave, I'm going to give you even more. I'm going to give you even more work. Read on.
My father had chastened you with whips.
Chastise
you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
I'm going to make it even worse if you get on my bad side. Read on.
So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king had appointed, saying, Come to me again the 3rd day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old man's counsel.
Forsook whose counsel?
Forsook the old man's counsel.
Which was to be a servant and to take care of the people and to do good by them. He forsook that counsel.
That they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men.
Of who?
Of the young men,
So he took the young men's counsel.
saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the
Now,
king...
we'll just stop right there. So you see, he had the opportunity. He got counsel, right? And the Lord says there's safety in counsel. But counsel from anybody? No. The right counsel. He had the right counsel, but he didn't want to do that. He wanted to listen to the young men. So I'm answering the question I had earlier. You have people who will go to the tens, which is considered the young men, right? They're younger in the truth, newer in the truth. Instead of going to the older men that have more experience, more understanding, more wisdom, they don't want to go there and listen to that. They rather listen to the young men because that's what they want to do. That's the evil inside of them. And we have men that still do that to this day in the truth. They know they have a camp leader or somebody over them. They will not counsel with that person. They will go counsel with somebody of the same age. I'm talking about rank-wise or something like that, or somebody younger. They'll do that over and over again and then wonder why they keep failing. All right, let's go to Luke 12. And that counsel is to protect you from yourself, because we naturally want to take shortcuts and the easy way out. 15 through 21. We're going to read that quick too as well.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 15. And he said unto them, Take heed, and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth.
You see that? Christ said, take heed and beware of covetousness. He coveted first place, winning that award so bad, he was willing to give his body up for it. Beware of covetousness. Beware of coveting that house, that car, that job, that title, that whatever. Beware of that.
Verse 16. And he spake a parable unto them, saying,
Watch this parable.
The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits.
I have so much that I don't have room to even store it all. Read on.
And he said, This will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and they where I bestow all my fruits and my goods.
So instead of just saying, I got all this extra, let me just give it to those who's in need. He says, no, I'm not sharing this. I'm going to tear my barns down and build bigger ones so I can store more for myself. Sound familiar? Like some of our famous people today? They'll do anything they can to enrich themselves. They're not helping their people at all. They don't give a damn about you. Read on.
And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years.
I got enough to last me for years, for my children's children's children. Read on.
Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry.
Relax, enjoy the fruits of your labor.
But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee.
You keep worrying about how much you keep stacking and stacking, and it'll never be enough. And tonight, you thought you was going to be chilling, enjoying yourself. Now the Lord require your soul tonight. Read on.
Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided?
Everything that you stored and saved up for yourself, who do you think is going to get it? Where's it going to go now? Read on.
So is he that layeth up treasure for himself, and is not rich toward God.
And that's the way a lot of rich people think. They don't even think about, how can I help other people? It's all about themselves. That's all they care about. And then in the end, they're going to die in some type of, or they're going to end up losing it all or dying in the middle of their sleep, early in whatever. They're not going to get to enjoy all those riches they had. Look at all the riches that Puff Daddy had. You think he's enjoying it now? No, he can't even touch it. All the money he got, he can't even bail himself out and be free until trial. They're locking him up before he's even in trial. Hasn't trial even started? Means nothing. You're a fool when you think that way, that everything I got is I'm just going to enjoy it. No, you don't know when you're going to die. You don't know when the Lord's going to call. You don't know when the Lord's going to require you to give up the ghost. You don't know that. And instead of, helping your brothers and stuff like that, when you have the opportunity, you say, it's all about myself. Well, guess what? You got yourself a ticket to destruction. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 5. And we're going to read verse 10 and 11. Ecclesiastes 5, 10, and 11. Because watch this. This is going back to what we just read. Watch this.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10.
No, verse 5.
Verse 5.
Chapter 5. Chapter 5, verse 10.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5 and verse 10. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver.
See, if when you love something, when you get it, it's not going to be enough. You're going to want more. It's not enough. Millionaires want to be billionaires. Billionaires want to get more billions. If they can be a trillionaire, they're going to do that. It's never enough. If you love silver, you won't be satisfied for that silver that you said you love so much. It just won't be enough for you. Read on.
Nor he that loveth abundance with increase.
Even when you get more and more and more, it'll never be enough. Read on.
This is also vanity.
That's vanity. Verse 11.
When goods increase.
When you increase your goods.
They are increased that eat them.
Uh-huh.
And what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes.
When you have that much money or that much whatever it is, how much can you really spend? How many Bentleys can you buy? How many Lamborghinis can you buy? How many mansions can you buy? How many can you live in? It gets to a point where it's like you're not even enjoying the things that you got. Now you're looking for some wild stuff to turn you on or to have some enjoyment or whatever. It's just never enough. But the thing about ill-gotten gains like that is you may have all that, but it's only for a season. Eventually you're going to lose it, or eventually you're going to die, and you can't take none of it with you. So what's the point? What's the point of having all that when you don't help your own nation? Give me Proverbs 14:23.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 23. In all labor there is profit.
In all labor there is profit. If you labor and do things the right way, there's profit in it. Or if you labor the wrong way, there's a profit in there. But how long are you going to keep that profit? Read on.
But the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury.
Penury. Now watch this right here. Who knows what penury means? Well, in the interest of time, let's show them the definition of penury. Go ahead and read that.
Penury, extreme poverty, destitution.
So extreme poverty or being poor, destitution, right? That's what penury means. So let's go back to the verse. Read verse 23 again.
Verse 23. In all labor there is profit.
So in all labor, the labor that you're doing, you're thinking like, man, I'm only year one of college. I got 3 more to go. But there's a profit in that. When you finish that year, you'll have 3 to go. When you finish the next year, you have 2 to go. So you're counting down. There is a profit in there. But
the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury.
You know what that's saying? If you work, you will obtain your goal. You'll get that goal. But if you just talk about it, you're just going to be poor. You ain't going to never achieve that because you're just all talk. You're all talking about what I'm going to do it, or I'll start next year, or I'll start this, I'll do that, or at some point. That some point never comes because you're just all talk. So you'll be stuck in penury. You'll be poor. You won't have nothing if you're all talk. But if you labor, there is a profit in that labor. All labor has a profit. Get Colossians 3. Colossians 3:23.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 23. And whatsoever ye do, do it, whatsoever ye do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto men.
That's the key point right there. The bottom part is the key point because it says, and whatsoever ye do it heartily. Now, I use Ronnie Coleman, for instance. Did he work hard? Did he work hard to achieve those goals? Yeah, those muscles you can't just inject yourself with steroids and they just pop up out of nowhere. You seen what he was doing in the gym. You seen the weights he was lifting, right? He was working hard, but he wasn't working hard with the second part of that verse. Watch the second part. As
to the Lord and not.
He was working hard for himself. When you work hard for the Lord, you're going to be doing things the right way. That's the difference right there. You look at professional football players, basketball players, baseball players. Do they work hard? Yeah, they practice every day. They work out every day. They train every day. Imagine if you trained as hard studying his Bible as he was lifting weights. How sharp would you be? Imagine you studied this Bible as much as professional basketball players take jump shots in practice and lift weights and eat right and everything else. Everything they can to be a better professional player. If you put that same effort into this truth right here, how far would you be? You'd probably be floating, probably be levitating. You probably have so much wisdom you'd be levitating. So that's why the Lord says, read that again.
And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily.
So whatever you're trying to do it harder. Give it your best. Work hard at it.
As to the Lord.
As to the Lord, meaning you're not doing ungodly things. Because if you're doing it to the Lord, it's going to be something that's going to be godly. So if you work hard and do that,
And not unto men.
Don't do it for yourself. Don't do it for other people. Don't do it for the fame of other men. Do it for the Lord. You do that, you'll have great gains. It's the ill-gotten gains when you do it for men or for other people is when those treasures don't last because you got it out of wickedness. It'll end up destroying you. You understand? Let's go to Proverbs 4 and 13. A few more scriptures.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 13.
Hold on. Let me get there. And we're going to go through 13 through 15.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 13. Take fast hold of an instruction.
So take fast and hold those instructions that you get from good leadership, good counsel.
Let her not go. Keep her, for she is thy life. Enter not into the path of the wicked.
Do what?
Enter not into the path of the wicked.
Now, the bodybuilder had a friend or another bodybuilder that told him, hey, this is what we're doing over here. He gave him the path to wickedness. And he entered into that path. And look how his body is now. But enter not into the path of wicked.
And go not in the way of evil men.
Don't go into the way of evil men. Get the right counsel and follow that counsel. If you don't understand, get counsel. And then apply counsel from leadership. Read on.
Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it. And pass away.
Avoid bad counsel. Avoid evil men. Don't try to gain things by taking the shortcut. When you take the shortcut, you're going to pay for it for a long time. So don't take shortcuts. Don't try to store up treasures of wickedness. It may look good temporarily, but it's going to destroy you in the end. Let's go to Sirach. Sirach 44. And we're going to read verses 1 through 4.
Book of Sirach, chapter 44 and verse 1. Let us now praise famous men.
Let us now
praise famous men.
The famous men, the men that was before us, our leadership, those that's given us good counsel, right?
And our fathers that begat us.
And the men that birthed us, right? This is when we had righteous fathers and stuff that taught us the right way. And in this case, we have forefathers like Moses, Ezekiel, well, whoever your favorite forefathers are, right? We had a lot of famous, from Joshua to Elijah, Elisha. You can go on and on. So let us praise those famous men and our fathers that begat us, right? Read on.
The Lord hath wrought great glory by them.
The Lord have wrought great glory by them.
Through his great power from the beginning. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms.
Come on.
Men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding.
Giving what?
Counsel by their understanding. And declaring prophecies.
So our forefathers always gave counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Same thing we have with our counselors today. From the bishops to the deacons to the captains to the officers, we have leadership set up to give counsel based off of their understanding and knowledge. Read on.
Leaders of the people by their counsel.
These are our leaders, and they give good counsel. Read on.
And by their knowledge of learning meat for the people.
And their knowledge of learning is good. Meat is good right there. That meat means good for the people.
Wise and eloquent in their instructions.
Wise and eloquent in their instructions. It doesn't mean that every time they give you counsel, you're going to feel good, because they're going to tell you, hey, don't do that. And it'd be something that you really wanted to do. But it's still wise. They're going to tell you sometimes you'll have your heart set on going in one direction and say, that's a bad move right there. Don't do that. Do this. So you're not going to like everything that they say, but you don't have to like it for it to work. You just got to follow it. And you'll understand later, like, man, I'm sure glad. You won't say it at that point, but at some point you'll say, man, I'm sure glad I listened to that counsel. That saved me from this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. I think all of us that's of age have had somebody told us, hey, you shouldn't talk to that person. Don't deal with that man, or don't deal with that woman. We did it anyway and found out later, like, damn, I wish I had listened. Those of us as of age before the truth, some in the truth was told, don't do that. They did it anyway. And I bet they wish they would have listened to counsel, right? We all have been told, don't hang with those boys. Don't hang with those girls. Don't do this. Don't do that. We didn't want to hear it at that time. We snuck and did it and paid for it. But we have to take that experience, those who have the experience, and those who don't have the experience, learn from our mistake. But we have to take that experience and say, you know what? I've gotten myself into so much trouble not listening to counsel. Let me listen to counsel now so I don't that way I don't put myself in that situation no more. Counseling is good for you. There's safety in that counsel. It'll protect you from trying to gain things through wickedness. The last scripture, Sirach 40, 25 through 27.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 40 and verse 25. Gold and silver make foot stand sure.
Gold and silver make the foot stand sure.
But counsel.
But what?
But counsel.
But counsel
is esteemed above them both.
The Lord is saying, you can have all the gold and silver, and that make your foot. A lot of people feel like, if I got money, I'm set. I'm settled. I'm good. So everybody in here values money. That's why we work hard. We value money because we know that without it, we can't pay our mortgages, our cars, and things like that. So we got to get money. But above that, the Lord is saying counsel is what?
Counsel is esteemed above them both.
Counsel is greater and better than both of those things. Read on.
Riches and strength lift up the heart.
When you have money in your pocket, it just seems like the sun is brighter. The air is fresher. Life's worth living when you got some money, right? But when you broke, it seemed like everything is. Why the sun so damn bright? What you smiling at over there? Everything's bad when you broke, right? Everything, the same thing you were so happy about would make you sad when you ain't got no money in your pocket. Read that again.
Riches and strength lift up the heart.
Yeah, when you got some money in your pocket and you can eat whatever you want, you can, travel or do whatever you want, you good. And your bills is paid, man, that'll strengthen your heart real good. Read on.
But the fear of the Lord
actually, the fear of the Lord is what?
Is above them both.
Is above that little money you got in your pocket. Because that little money you got in your pocket, all it takes is the transmission in your car to go out, the air conditioner on your house to go out. All it takes is a couple of things like that, and that little bit of money you had is gone. Read on.
There is no want in the fear of the Lord.
There is nothing lacking. The word want right there means lacking. There is nothing lacking when you fear the Lord. Read on.
And it needeth not to seek help.
And you don't need no extra help. If you fear the Lord, you good. There's nothing lacking. What verse you at?
Verse 27.
Finish this.
The fear of the Lord is a fruitful garden.
If you fear the Lord, it's a fruitful garden. You'll be flourished with all the things you need. It's a fruitful garden when you fear the Lord.
And covereth him above all glory.
And it'll cover you above all glory, whether the glory comes from riches, fame, positions, titles, whatever you want to name. If you fear the Lord and you do things the right way, that is more valuable than anything on this planet. So store up your treasures in the kingdom where moths and worms and dust and rust does not destroy it.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is